Welcome to First Look with American Hunter. I'm Frank Miniter, the editor-in-chief. The NRA is America's First Freedom. Today we're speaking with Mike Holm, who is the Global Product Line Director, Centerfire Rifle Ammunition for the Kinetic Group, which includes, of course, Federal Premium, Remington Ammunition, CCI, and other huge and popular brands. But here we're here today to talk about a cartridge that no doubt will change the landscape here in 2025. It's called a 7mm Backcountry. Rather than me trying to butcher it and jump into it, that's what you're here for, Mike. Give us an overview of this cartridge.
Yeah, well, when we look at the consumer needs and the trends in the market where hunting rifles are going, lightweight, compact, short barrels, suppressors, all those things are hot right now. And that's what people are gravitating towards. And when you go with shorter barrels, you lose velocity, you lose performance. And so there's this big debate going on of kind of like, what trade-off do I make? Do I shorten my barrel? Do I lose performance? What cartridge should I go to maximize the performance I get out of my short barrel compact rifle with a suppressor? And that's really what we set out to answer was, really true innovation here with the 7mm Backcountry. We're giving consumers 170 grain bullets at 3,000 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel. And so it's really something that we're giving them that magnum performance that they're looking for out of that short compact rifle.
Now, this all comes down to the steel casing instead of brass. Yeah, can you explain that?
Yeah, so that's the real secret. That's the real innovation here is the peak alloy case is what we call it. That really unlocks the barriers that brass case has put on us for decades, for numbers of years. It's a patented steel alloy, and it's used in things similar to high strength gun safes or regular safes, high performance race cars, things like that. It really allows the cartridge to handle higher chamber pressures safely and still function the weapon. The weapon actually doesn't see any difference. It doesn't know it's shooting a higher pressure cartridge than it would be just a standard brass case at normal pressures. And it really is the secret to the whole kind of technology and what we're doing here is that peak alloy case.
How many years did it take you to develop this alloy?
It's been in the works for 6 years, and it all started with the U.S. government, the military, wanting higher performance ammunition. And one of the ways to get there was to increase pressure in the cartridge, increase the chamber pressures, and two places that you couldn't go with in standard brass. And so lots of testing, lots of different iterations of materials, combinations of materials have culminated in what we've got today is a one-piece, high-strength alloy case, steel alloy case that has, similar characteristics of brass that allows it to, have some spring back and really kind of act like a brass case, but it's a real strong kind of pressure vessel that captures that increased chamber pressure, allows us to use, standard weapons and weapon designs, rifle designs, and really give, this magnum performance out of these shorter barrels.
Well, that spring back is key, I would imagine, because if it expands as a steel cartridge might, and it would become stuck in the chamber if it doesn't spring back slightly. So how many times did you have, as you were testing and trying different alloys, how many times did you have it become stuck in the chamber?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of iterations, a lot of testing, fail fast, fail often kind of things. And, you have a lot of failure over 6 years, in development, but what we've really settled on here is something it's game changing. I feel like we're leveling up performance. We're breaking barriers that we, couldn't break before. And, when I think about innovation and the things that we do with ammunition, a lot of times it's very incremental stuff. feel like this is a barrier breaking kind of technology, and we're pretty excited about it.
It's a massive leap forward. I came to Minnesota to test the 7mm backcountry with you folks. And one of the things you had us do was carry a regular sized rifle with a suppressor attached through a little forest. Of course, it was getting caught and everything because it was way over my head. And then to carry a shorter barreled rifle had the same performance or similar performance, is also suppressed, chambered in 7mm backcountry. And then, of course, I didn't have any problems because it was much shorter. So easily able to walk through the forest, climb into a blind, and shoot a target. So, can you give me some examples of, because you're saying a shorter barreled rifle can have the same performance as a longer barreled rifle? Give me some examples.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're, the trend for the short, compact, lightweight rifle, who doesn't want that, right? When you're out in the mountains hunting, like you said, walking through the woods, if you've got this really long barrel with the suppressor on it, you're knocking it into, all sorts of things, maneuvering in, enclosed blinds and trying to get out in and out of windows, UTVs, vehicles, things like that. Even in gun cases, a lot of 24-inch barrels with a suppressor on it, won't even fit in a gun case. So, it's really, who doesn't want a shorter barrel? And, what we're doing here is giving you all those things, but not having you make a compromise on performance.
Another thing you had us do that was ingenious is shoot rifles chambered in 7mm backcountry right beside rifles in a similar chambering to try to see if we could feel the recoil difference from the 200 feet per second or so faster bullet that we were experiencing. And I couldn't feel a difference between the two. On that day, did anybody feel a difference?
We've done this over and over again. Our sales force, different consumer tests, you guys in the event we had out here in Minnesota. And it's always kind of the same thing. Is like, I can't tell the difference. I'm debating whether it's less or not. It's always kind of that same kind of thing. So really, no, I mean, we're working on ways to try to quantify all that. But when you really sit down and shoot it, and you're thinking, wow, that's one of the top probably 3 questions we get is, what's the recoil like when you shoot this thing? And it is very pleasant. It's very comparable. If you sit down and shoot a 7 PRC and you grab a 7 backcountry and in the same kind of rifle platform, you won't be able to tell the difference. And you may be debating whether it's less or not. And so, that's a really neat thing that we're able to give this performance, but also, not have, excessive recoil that the shooter or hunter has to endure.
Now, the peak alloy casing, is it reloadable?
It is reloadable. We're going to have, we've done a lot of testing, lots of reloadability testing and things like that. And this is not, this is high performance steel that has that flexibility and some of that, where it'll retract and act like brass. So you can reload it. We're going to have a section on our website that really explains, the learnings that we've had in reloading this and have some guidelines and some recommendations. For reloading. We're also going to, have a component brass element to this. So if somebody wants to just buy the brass and go out and reload it, we're going to have that available as well.
Price differences people are going to see when they go to the store with this cartridge.
Yeah. So it's going to be right on par with what you get with standard 7 PRC ammunition. We're going to have 5 different offerings actually. So we've got our terminal ascent. We're going to have a 155 grain offering, which is really the fastest 7mm cartridge that we know of at this point. We're going to have a 170 grain terminal ascent, which is the high BC, really robust bonded copper shank hunting bullet. That's our pinnacle. We think that's the best hunting bullet in the market. We're going to have a 195 grain Berger Elite Hunter, which has the highest BC that we know of any hunting bullet at 0.755. It's incredible BC and shooting 175 grain bullet in a 7mm, or 195 grain bullet in a 7mm is just incredible. as well as a Barnes LRX in 168 grain. So again, a heavier monolithic copper bullet. And then, when you think about good, better, best, those are all kind of on the best line. The better offering we're going to have in the middle, which is a really nice price point, is our new Fusion tipped offering. And so that, is a monolithic, kind of bonded bullet where it's all kind of, molecularly bonded together, kind of in that better price point. It's a new offering, super accurate. But this thing's going to be right there with the rest of the 7PRCs and 7mm mags and everything else that you're used to buying.
So same bullet options choices from what I'm hearing, what people are used to. They could still use a rifle they're used to. And I think I saw 7 makers that were at the event I went to that already had rifles chambered in 7mm Backcountry. So it seems like the marketplace is already geared and ready for this new cartridge.
Yeah, I think we've got, as we sit here today, we've got 10 or 12, I think, that are going to be launching with us at SHOT Show. And we've talked to no less than 20 that are in various stages of development. The gun partners have been super receptive. They've been extremely helpful, and we're very grateful for that. And, we'll have a whole list of our gun partners on the website as well. And there's going to be everything from every level of price point that you can imagine, rifles available.
So more performance, a faster bullet choices people are used to. One thing that surprised me when we were in Minnesota shooting this cartridge is the spent casings felt a lot lighter than the brass cartridges.
Yeah, that's part of, one of the requirements that the government was looking for, was to have a lighter weight option as well. So this is, I think the number is 15% lighter weight. And this cartridge, we're getting this performance out of a smaller cartridge. So the cartridge case actually looks similar in size to like a 280 Ackley or, a 270 or 30-06, same kind of size. In that, so we're able to generate this performance with this case technology out of a smaller case. So, you get a little lighter case with the material and the size. And then I guess an extra benefit you can have as well is a lot of the magazines, you'll be able to get an extra cartridge in it as well.
So the peak alloy technology, here we are in 7mm Backcountry, gonna get a lot of attention this year. Do you see this expanding into other cartridges as we go forward?
I do. I really do. This is, this breaks some barriers, and, where we see consumer needs where we can benefit by using this case technology. Absolutely. We're already, thinking of some of the next steps and next applications for the case.
So the 7mm Backcountry, what cartridges would you find it similar to, and how would someone then compare it?
So, 7mm PRC is the hot hunting cartridge right now. And, that's really one that we looked at, and we wanted to try to give consumers the performance you would get out of your 24-inch barrel in a 20-inch shorter barrel option. So that's what we've really targeted. So when you look at 7PRC, 24-inch barrel velocities at 2,950, some at 3,000. We're at 3,000 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel. So we're giving you that same performance that you get out of the longer barrel in the 7PRC, but we're giving it to you in that short barrel rifle. 7mm mag is 3,000 feet per second with a 155 grain bullet. We're giving you 3,000 feet per second out of and that's out of a 24-inch barrel. We're giving you 3,000 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel with 170 grain bullets. So those heavy bullets, everybody kind of wants to migrate towards those heavy, high BC bullets. So we're beating that. We beat the 280 Ackley. We beat the 28 Nosler out of 155 grain bullets, 3,200 feet per second. Out of a 24-inch barrel, we're 3,300 feet per second out of a 24-inch barrel. So we really have, covered all the 7mm ranges and beat them all really. And that's what we set out to do, is to give the long barrel performance in the shorter barrel. And so that's where we're talking about this whole Magnum performance out of short barrels. And really we sum it up with the 170 grain bullets, 3,000 feet per second, 20-inch barrel. One thing that's really interesting is our 155 grain offering in the terminal ascent is actually about 3,000 plus out of a 16-inch barrel. So guys who want to go even shorter yet can still have, some really tremendous performance with this 7mm Backcountry cartridge.
What kind of accuracy are you hearing back from manufacturers as they chamber this cartridge?
Yeah, accuracy, and I'm glad you brought that up, because accuracy is one of the pinnacles of what all these gun manufacturers are after right now. Every one of them that we talk to said it's got to be accurate, or we're just, we're not in. And so accuracy has been fantastic with this. We've had a lot of development with the loadings, just all the different design, the cartridge design. The cartridge design has all the real modern features of what you would think of in a modern hunting cartridge, with the neck length and the shoulder angles and all the different elements there. So we didn't want to change any of that, because that's been proven out to be, really help with accuracy, and especially with these heavy high BC bullets. So our accuracy has been phenomenal. That's something that we're watching very closely, and certainly is, fits into that consumer need. It has to be accurate. That's the one thing that consumers can do, is they can go to the range, they can shoot it. And that's something that's very easy to judge right there, is accuracy.
Well, I'm looking forward to shooting this cartridge more and to hunting with it. Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it. Thank you.